Hello, this is going to be a sample of the problem statement, kind of step you through the problem statement, the business rules, and finding tables, just so you've got some context to. We've read theoretical, but I hope this will give you a context. Okay, so here's our sample problem statement. Provide a user-friendly database solution that will help a community aid organization track aid given by household as well as the donors of the designated assistance and the amount of that designated assistance not yet allocated. Well, we need some business rules now to understand what all that means. We're going to be working with a community aid organization, something like a Salvation Army food center or someplace, some charitable organization that provides aid to folks in need. So the first thing we've got is an environmental statement from our business rules. It's going to be in the state of Kentucky. Well, that tells us we can use zip codes and we don't have to worry about country codes and telephone numbers. So what table do we need if we're going to track organizations? Well, we better have something called organization so we can keep the official title of the organization, its business address and telephone numbers and that sort of thing. That everything that we deal with is going to be linked back to that organization. So we'll keep a header or a table called organization. Okay, we're going to track aid for individuals in only one county. Well, the key word there is individuals. Reporting year that does not necessarily align with the calendar year. So easy would be that everything starts on calendar year. And because you all get to make your business rules, in your example, you may want to decide that your reporting year and the calendar year are going to be the same because it makes your math easier. In this case, we realize we need to support not having that. Okay, so I need another table. I'm going to call it 8 month, and I'm going to use that to try to store a single integer value for each month, and then in that table know the month, the year, and so forth of that month. Maybe the number of business days in the month, but for sure we're going to keep the year, how you type the name and so forth, the year and the month. So it'd be like 8 month one might be 01/20 and its text is January. Okay, our next business rule is that aid is tracked to a household by month. Well, I bet we're going to need to have some way to keep up with households and the individuals in them. 2 more tables. Each household must have one and only one head of household. So we're going to have to relate the individual people and the individual back to the household. And I've got an idea that I think I've come up with that I think is going to be pretty slick. But right now, all we know is that we're going to need a table that's household members so that we can keep up with who's in each household. An individual can belong to one and only one household in any given month. So we need an organization that will let us enforce that. An individual in a household must either be the head of the household or be related to the head of household. The aid is divided into types. Okay, I believe that I left out a table, and I'm into the presentation, so next time you see this it'll be there, but I needed a table that was relation so that I don't have to type father, mother, daughter, cousin, friend in each time, but I can have auto-generated number for each. But we're going to have to add a type of aid, an aid type. So is it food aid, or is it electric aid, or is it for the gas meter? What type of aid? Is it clothing? aid is divided into types, and the minimum time between the distribution varies by the aid type, but is measured in months. So that was a simplification for us. We don't have to count days. We can just figure out what month we're in, and that again is the type of thing, because you're getting to create your world. Your business rules ought to be nice to you when you think it makes sense. The amount of aid distribution varies based on the number of individuals in that household and the aid type. So I'm going to need an aid type size cat, so that it may be that for food we talk 1 to 5 people, and then another category for food is 6 to 10, and I'm not sure what they are. But for electric it may be 1 to 99 gets the same amount, or whatever. But the point is, the different types of aid have different size categories, and the distribution is a record of what we gave out. So we will be able to record that in some month to some household we gave out some type of aid, and the size category we gave out the 1 to 5 food or whatever. Donors may designate the amount of assistance by month by type. So we're going to have keep up with donation source. Where did the money come from? Oh, this was the Salvation Army, and they're given $1,000 a month to help with people's electric bills or whatever. So we're going to have a donation source and then a donation budget, so that for a month and for a donation source there is a budget. Okay, the next rule is the system needs to ensure that households do not overdraw any type of aid in the month. And I believe that by doing select sums and so forth, we can do that with these tables. We won't need any more. And the donor designates an amount of assistance by type is not to be exceeded in a month. So even though the Salvation may send in $5,000 in January, they want that to last 5 months. So each month you can only give out $1,000, and so we need some way to do that. And I believe that these tables will do that. But that's the point of these business rules, to try to, in your mind, figure out if you've got a way to meet the needs, and also to go back to the users and say, I think this is what you said, and if I can do all these things, will you have a successful system? And they may say, well, now you need to be able to handle Christmas, because at Christmas thus and such happens, or whatever. But it's a whole lot better to be talking about those sorts of things now than after you get the system finished and then find out that, oh, well, it really doesn't work, and it's not going to be adapted because once a year it breaks itself. Unused designated donations roll forward and add to that donor's budget or allocation for the next month. So we need to be sure that we can do that, and I think these tables will. On an ad hoc basis, the agency needs to be able to report the number of households served by month, and I think we can sort these data tables and get that. The average statistics for household by month, the number of members, and I think these tables will let us sort on the house members and get that. The number of generations in a household, and if we had the relations table that I don't have but we're going to add, we could get how many cousins, how many aunts, and how many fathers or mothers we had. The average age of the household, if the individual has the date of birth, which it will, we'll be able to calculate the age of people. The system needs to allow several workers to access data simultaneously. Well, if one of your projects for this class has that requirement, you should not be using Access, because Access is a single user system. It does not know about concurrency, and it doesn't have any way to support safely letting two people into the data at the same time. By the same token, if you have a requirement that says history is important and the agency will gain significant value maintaining data over decades, if you've read as much as I think you have by now, you know that Access has a total storage size of 2 gigabytes, which sounds like a lot of data. But if you start rolling one of these systems out for 20 or 30 years, what you really don't want to do is have all this data that is mission critical, and at year 20, the database crashes and dies because that last person that came to pick up food pushed you over the limit, and Access does not go down gracefully. It just falls out of the sky and corrupts your data. So these last two are kind of Trojan horses in that hopefully your system won't have those two requirements. But on any system you design, you ought to think about, if you're going to use Access, you ought to be sure that the system does not need to allow several workers to access data simultaneously, and that you're not going to build up big data sets. Now, MySQL, MSQL, Oracle, Informix, and the list goes on. There's lots of ways you can do it, but Access is not your horse. All right, so we ended up with these tables plus one called relation. And hopefully this gives you an idea of what I alluded to in week 5 and 6 about come up with a problem statement, come up with business rules, and on week 2 I asked for tables, and some did pretty well and some seem to be struggling. So I hope this example gives you an idea of how to start thinking of pools of data you're going to need. We haven't talked about keys yet. We haven't talked about normalization. We haven't talked about what fields we're going to put in each one. We're just at the early stages. But if you have a question, give me a call. Thank you.